Dear learners, I welcome you all to the higher module on institutional management for entrepreneurship. Today we are going to focus on Unit 4, Intellectual Property Right, Technology Transfer and Commercialization. This is part 2 of the video series entitled Technology Transfer, IP Landscaping and Freedom to Operate. The contents of the presentation are an introduction to technology transfer, categories of technology transfer, different channels of technology transfer, university technology transfer, IP landscaping and freedom to operate. Now learners, let us understand what is technology transfer. Technology transfer can be defined as a process in which technology is carried or transferred across the border of two entities. These entities may be different nations, enterprises or among different persons. There are various categories of technology transfer. The first one is international technology transfer. As clear from the name, in this type of transfer of technology takes place across borders of countries. Mostly in this type of transfer, the technology is transferred from an industrialized country to a developing country. Next one is regional technology transfer. In regional technology transfer, there is transfer of technology from one region of the country to another. For example, when this transfer takes place from Punjab to Kerala, then we call it as regional technology transfer. Cross-industry technology transfer. This type of technology transfer refers to transfer of technology from one industrial sector to another. Next one is inter-firm technology transfer. Now, in this type of transfer of technology, the technology is transferred from one firm to another. For example, let us take a computer numerical control machine which we call as CNC machine. When it is transferred from a cutting tool manufacturing unit to a goods manufacturing unit, then we call it as an inter-firm technology transfer. Next one is intra-firm technology transfer. In this type of technology transfer, there is transfer of technology within a firm only from one part or from one particular site or location to another. For example, when we say that the transfer of technology is taking place from a company's Delhi office to its office at Mumbai location. Now, dear learners, you all are aware that technology is tangible. It means it can easily flow across various boundaries, whether it is across the boundaries of industries, different departments or individuals. The only condition is that these flow channels should be well established. Now, let us understand the various channels of technology transfer. The first one is journal channels. The transfer of technology takes place in this case unintentionally. That means the information is available in the public domain and it is not restricted and can be used by anyone. For example, in case of education, in case of training, in case of programs, seminars and workshops. So, the information we are obtaining is free and anybody can use it. The second type of channel is reverse engineering channel. This is also a similar type of channel in which the transfer of technology takes place without any active contribution from the source. In this case, the receiver copies the work of the source and this is only possible if there are no intellectual property rights involved in this. To understand this, let us take an example. Let us suppose that company A has launched its new product in the market. Now, another company B comes and it copies the product of company A and they sell this product under their own name as a competitor to product A. And also if they sell this product at a lower price, what will happen? It will lead to a loss of profit to company A who was actually the original inventor. Now, this type of transfer can only be challenged if it is protected by the proper intellectual property rights. Otherwise, anybody can copy your technology. The next channel of technology transfer is through planned channels. As the name implies, the technology transfer is done in a planned manner with the consent of both the owner as well as the receiver. Now, there are various modes of transferring the technology through these planned channels. Some of these modes are like through licensing. When we give franchise, this franchise is very common in case of your food joints. You see KFCs, McDonald's, they are giving franchises. In case of joint ventures, and also this type of channels are also possible in case of foreign direct investment, which we call as FDI. So, dear learners, now we will understand the concept of university technology transfer. The concept of technology transfer in academics, also known as university technology transfer, describes the activity of transfer of knowledge and technology from the academic circle to the industries or the businesses through various schemes. This concept of university technology transfer came into existence in the year 1980 by the amendment of the United States Patent Act, which is known as Bayh-Dole Act. Now, the basic function of the act was the enhancement of technology transfer activity in the academic circle, especially for technology developed with the help of government funding. And it was noted that the implementation of this act led to an exponential progress in the university technology transfer in case of United States of America. The act also inspired other countries, as many countries implemented this act in their national legislation. To understand this, let us look at this figure. This is a technology transfer roadmap. Now, let us suppose that you get some funding from a government. So, government funded research is taking place inside a university, which we call research in university or university research. After getting funds from the government, the university has discovered some new product or a new technology. Now, after the production of this product or technology, the next step to be followed is that they have to protect their technology, they have to protect their product by this intellectual property rights. So, the next step is intellectual property protection for the technology and the product which has been produced inside the university with the help of government research fund. After the completion of this step, the next step in the roadmap is prototyping that particular product, means making a model or a small prototype of the final product. Now, all these processes, if you see learners, are taking place inside the university. After the completion of prototyping, the next step is finding a counterpart, which actually means to collaborate with someone. Mostly this collaboration is with industry, with some firm, with some enterprise. So, now the product which had been produced inside the university, now it has collaborated, the university has collaborated with the industry. Now, the industry will actually manufacture that product, and this industry is now responsible for launching that product and for the marketing, or which we call as commercialization of that particular product or technology which was initially produced inside the university. Now, the entire profits or the financial benefits will now be shared by the industry as well as by the university. So, learners, this is a brief roadmap of technology transfer from the university to the market. Now, the next question is how to transfer this technology which has been developed inside the university to an enterprise or to some other party. Now, there are several ways in which you can transfer the technology which you have produced inside your university. These different ways are through technology transfer offices, We have various technology transfer agents who are involved in this technology commercialization through academic spin-offs, through university industry collaborative research centers, and if you are aware, we have various science parks, incubators and licensing contracts which help in transfer of technology from the university to the market. Then we can go for various joint research, some academic consultants, maybe a patent or a license, or we can have some royalty agreement for the transfer of this technology. Now, the university technology transfer can take place in two ways. The first one is the formal technology transfer. The second one is known as informal technology transfer. What do we mean by these two? Formal technology transfer means that it takes place through some formal documented way, that may be through licensing, consulting or through contract research. However, informal technology transfer means when a university contacts an enterprise, industry or anyone outside the university through some contacts. Now, these contacts may be personal, or sometimes what happens when we visit some conferences, when we attend some meetings, we are able to make some contacts with the industry. So, there is no formal documentation involved, but informally the professor or the academician, they contact the industry and they do some informal technology transfer among the university and the enterprises. So, in these two ways, formal and informal way, we can transfer the technology from our universities to the industry. Now, dear learners, let us move forward and understand what is intellectual property landscaping, or what we call as IP landscaping. According to Harvard evolutionary psychologist Steven Pinker, cognitive psychology has shown that the mind best understands facts when they are woven into a conceptual fabric such as narrative, mental map or intuitive theory. Now, disconnected facts in the mind are like unlinked pages on the web. They might as well as not exist. In modern days, the technology firms face a huge dynamic churn of data, means there is huge amount of data, but this data dissociated from the context is of no meaning. The ability to fit the correct data to a particular story in question is what transfers that into useful information. This is where IP landscaping comes. IP landscaping recognizes the intellectual property positioning of a particular domain of technology or business in a given country. Now, different technology based enterprises use IP landscapes to undertake a broader view of the patents, state of the art and competitive activity in the required technological area. These projects help to give a high level view of the plan and to coordinate strategies to fulfill the objectives of the business. It helps various departments like research and development, marketing and legal teams to plan strategies to fulfill the overall objectives of the business. Now, amongst the different types of landscapes, first one is the early stage landscapes. These are basically focused towards the research and development, risk identification and monetization. For startup or in the early stages of product development, landscapes are useful for the identification of clear or white space for the research and development. That means what space is available for doing research and development, the knowledge about that. These landscapes cover broad technical areas and include various alternative techniques or products related to that product development. The second type of landscape is known as strategic competitive landscape. These types of landscapes are focused towards competitive positioning and legal risk management. The assessment of strategic competitive landscape is required as the product reaches the stage of product launch. That means at the launch of the product we require this landscapes. Now, these landscapes, apart from patent literature, requires detailed analysis of the products launched by the competitors, the latest related publications and competitive intelligence. Now, learners, let us understand what we mean by freedom to operate, or also known as FTO. Freedom to operate refers to whether it is commercially safe for an individual or a firm to make or sell a product in a country in which it wishes to do so, without infringing the existing third party rights. For example, it means that if you wish that I want to launch this product in a particular country, you will first have to check whether you can launch that product without infringing the property rights which are there and which are existing with any other party in that particular country. For this, learners, you will have to do a FTO analysis, freedom to operate analysis. The procedure involved for the assessment of whether or not the product or process possesses FTO is called the FTO analysis. So, basically this FTO analysis involves dividing the entire product or process into its basic fundamental components, and then each fundamental component will be checked if it is free from any attached intellectual property rights. There are certain other terms associated with this freedom FTO, that is Fto Opinion. The Fto Opinion is a draft prepared by a patent counsel based upon the results of the FTO analysis. This Fto Opinion helps to indicate whether that particular product or process infringes the IP rights or not. So, you will get an opinion, you will get a data or a draft that whether it is infringing upon the IP rights or not. The next is Fto Status. The Fto Opinion will now help to form a Fto status for the product or process in question, based upon the particular place and time and the amount of risk associated with R&D and commercialization activities. That means this Fto status will actually give you the picture that if you go for this particular product, this is the amount of risk associated with this in different fields, that is research and development and in the field of commercialization. The next one is Fto strategy. The Fto status now provide an outline for the formulation of a strategy for the development of the product. That means after you know the status of that particular product, now you can plan a strategy that how to go about that particular product. So, this includes various business and legal considerations to maintain a balance between the potential benefits and risk. Means up till now you are aware that these are the benefits associated and these are the risks and associated with this particular product. If I launch this product, now you plan your strategy based upon these results to how to go about for that particular product. Now, the next question is when to go for this FTO. The companies, academics or research institutes who intend to launch a new product should seek for FTO during the early stages of the product development. That means when they have started thinking or designing that product, then only they should start for the FTO analysis. Now, there are various strategies to obtain this FTO. The various strategies are intellectual property management strategies, research and development strategies and business strategies. To know more details, learners, you are requested to kindly refer to the e-content of this unit. Thank you.